Hello everybody, taking a break from the machine, so I thought I'd do a quick video kind of on awareness of things to consider when buying a saber or designing a saber. You know, I see a lot of people talk about, man, that saber is huge, and they compare it to a fire hydrant or something, which there are a lot of big ones out there, don't get me wrong. But there are considerations that, you know, you got to think about, what's this saber going to be used for? What do I want to fit inside of this saber? You know, how much space do I need inside of it? What do I want the outside of this saber to look like? How deep do the cuts got to be to where my wall thickness? You got to always think about that wall thickness. This might seem like common sense to some people, but you know, it's not. Everybody doesn't really consider this. You know, the wall thickness, you know, that will determine, you know, how strong your saber is and how long it will last and what you can use it for. This is a saber that I'm working on right now. It's got some sleeves going on it. This is just the primary tube, so it's still in its early stages, so please ignore scratches and stuff. They will be gone before I'm done. But this wall thickness is 1/8 of an inch. A little bit over, actually, 1.28. 1.128, I apologize, 1.128. So, you know, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. But, you know, back here I had to thread for a pommel. That brings this wall thickness down. I've got a 20 thread here. That brings this wall thickness down to, I believe it was a 0.07, which, you know, is still pretty good. But this guy's getting a 2-foot long staff on the end of it, so we got to keep that in mind. You know, which he'll still be all right. He told me he's going to be using this for spinning techniques and whatnot, so not a big issue. All right, so now where we really get into an issue is he wanted this to come apart right here. I used a 28 thread right here to try to keep the as much wall thickness as I could, but that is, you know, a weak point if you were to go really banging on something. I ended up with, by threading the inside and outside, that ended up being a 0.054 wall thickness approximately. You know, so that's something to keep in mind too. You know, do I want to have a hilt that separates for a reveal or for easy access? Well, you know, this thick tube that is strong turned into, you know, a weak spot right here. Now he's mostly going to have his hand right here, so you know that's not really a leverage point, which, you know, is something else you got to think of is leverage. You got a 3-foot long blade in there. Well, you know, something that would normally be strong, when you get 3 foot of leverage on something beating on it, well, you know, that's a lot of force. So let me get into these. I got just a couple of scrap pieces of metal here. Both of these have the same wall thickness. I hope that the video shows clearly. Both of these have the same wall thickness. But this one is a bigger tubing, so it is stronger than this smaller tubing, even though they have the same wall thickness. This one has more metal to it because the distance going around is longer than the distance going around here. Plus, the distance across is longer, so that's better leverage strength that the tube has than this one. So, you know, I also see where a lot of people say, well, my thin neck broke. You know, why did my neck break? It shouldn't have broke. Not to be sarcastic or mean or anything, but it broke because it's a thin neck. You know, you just can't get but so much out of something. That's, you know, I see a lot of that going on where people think that a thin neck is supposed to be as strong and durable as, you know, a 1 3/8 hilt. I mean, it just cannot happen unless you go to a different material, you know. But, you know, I'm not going to get into materials right now. But example, this is a scrap piece. I believe I messed up somewhere. I don't remember where. But anyway, this is you know, 1.5 inch outer diameter by 1 inch inner diameter. Well, it has to be so big. It's a, you know, a grenade section has to be so big because of them deep cuts. You know, and then you got to take into consideration of threading on the inside of it. It just has to be big if you want that grenade section, you know. So if you plan on getting a saber and you're going to be using it against a boken or a hardcore against another saber, then, you know, think about the design of the saber, you know, or if you're planning on buying a saber, you know, hey, ask the manufacturer. Don't be afraid to ask. Ask them, you know, what's the wall thickness on that neck? Can I really use this for, you know, beating on something? If he won't answer you, then you know, the answer is probably no. It's for display. If he can give you a good answer, then, you know, look into it and see, you know, what you got. I just, you know, want you to save time and money when you're getting something, or you know, having something made. Take these into consideration. You know, MHS hilts, they're kind of big, but man, look at what you can fit inside of them things. I believe Saber Forge is on average 1.35 inch of the grip on diameter. You know, they've picked a pretty good size. They got 1 1/8" on the inside for putting electronics in. That's a pretty moderate thing. I don't know much about Vader Vault. I know they've got they're supposed to have good quality stuff from what I hear, but as far as like on their thin necks, I'm not sure how they do it. You know, I hear good things about them, so I'm not here to talk about companies. I'm just saying, you know, think about these things and ask. Well, if that's threaded, if this thing is threaded in the center, well, that's going to make it weak. Do I really want that? Do I need that? Because this right here, you know, I told him straight up that this cannot be used against a Boken, you know, especially with a 2-foot staff on it. And, you know, he said, well, I'm not planning to. So cool, okay. You know, I always try to go over these things with the customer when they bring me a design, and sometimes we change it, and, you know, sometimes not, and he just accepts that, you know, it is what it is. But anyways, you know, like I say, I had a little spare time and thought I'd throw together a video, and thank you.